Hi, Scorpio. Today we're looking at June 11th, 2025, and that's the full moon in Sagittarius. We'll look at Scorpio Sun, Moon, and Rising with specific messages for each. We'll look at numerology and astrology and the tarot cards, and we'll end the reading with advice for your sign. And in the description box, I have links for meditations for each of these tarot cards that I pulled for you today. So in numerology, that day is a number 8, and it represents personal power, karmic balance, strength, and the pursuit of mastery. It's the energy of transformation through effort, resilience, and purpose. So for you, Scorpio, this number aligns beautifully with your intense, regenerative nature. It says, you've earned your strength, now use it. So you may be inspired to confront something you've long avoided, whether that's a financial challenge, a personal relationship, or a self-limiting belief. Today is about owning your power, setting a firm boundary, or stepping up into a role that demands maturity and integrity. Now, astrology, the full moon activates your second house of money, values, self-worth, and resources. And it's opposing the sun in Gemini, which is your 8th house, of shared resources, intimacy, and transformation. So it's a power axis for Scorpio, calling your attention to what you truly value and what you're willing to let go of. But we're going to start with the sun. The sun, it's in your 8th house. The sun is in Gemini, which is your 8th house. And that's going to talk about deep transformation and shared resources. So the sun highlights topics around shared finances, debts, intimacy, and inner transformation. It's shining a light on what you've been processing internally or behind the scenes. So you may be sorting out joint finances with a partner, negotiating a contract, or having a deep emotional talk that shifts your understanding of trust and connection. Here's the moon. The moon is in Sagittarius, and that's your second house. And that's self-worth and money and personal values. So the moon urges emotional clarity around your self-worth and your income and what makes you feel secure. Are you undervaluing yourself or clinging to something that no longer aligns with your truth? So you may be suddenly realizing you're undercharging for your work, or recognize that a relationship isn't respecting your core values. This is your cue to realign. Here's Mercury. Mercury's in Gemini, and that's your 8th house. That's intimate conversations and mental intensity. Mercury brings clarity through deep or intense discussions. You may feel compelled to express something you've kept private, or to explore emotional topics that need light. So a conversation about trust or a buried memory might come up, helping you understand something critical about yourself or a close connection. We got Venus. Venus is in Cancer. That's your 9th house. That's going to talk about beliefs and travel and expansion. So Venus offers emotional growth through exploring new philosophies or experiences. You may feel more tender about your beliefs or crave connection through learning or travel. You might reconnect with a spiritual path, fall in love with a new idea, or have a heart-to-heart with someone from a different culture or worldview. And then we got Mars, and Mars is in Aries. That's your 6th house. That's work and health and routines. So Mars energizes your daily life, your to-do lists, your body, your productivity. It's a great time to channel your intensity into discipline, but beware of pushing too hard. You might feel like overhauling your health habits or diving into a demanding project. Just pace yourself. You can do it. Scorpio, you really can. Here's a tarot card. The first one was the 6 of Swords. And the 6 of Swords talks about transition and moving on and mental clarity. So this card signals a journey, physically, emotionally, or mentally. It's about leaving behind difficulties and heading toward a calmer, more stable state of being. And often it comes after a struggle, indicating that smoother waters are ahead, but you must choose to release the past. So, real life example, you might finally decide to let go of a lingering conflict or a toxic dynamic or even a self-destructive thought pattern. Maybe you're physically moving into a new place or emotionally detaching from a painful situation. This is the card of hope. You're heading towards peace. Well, advice: don't look back. Trust that you're moving in the right direction, even if the journey feels uncertain right now. And then we have the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups. So the Knight of Cups talks about romantic gestures, emotional offers, and idealism. So the Knight of Cups brings messages of the heart. It's an energy of romance and creativity and emotional openness. If he follows his dreams and acts on feelings, sometimes boldly, sometimes impulsively. So this card also highlights invitations, proposals, or heartfelt outreach. For example, you may receive an emotional message from someone. It could be an apology, a confession, or a romantic gesture. Or you could be the one initiating, opening your heart in a vulnerable but beautiful way. If you're in the creative arts, this card could also spark a flood of inspiration. So here's your advice. Say yes to sincere emotion. Just be sure to ground your dreams in reality so you're not swept away in illusion. Third card was the King of Cups. The King of Cups talks about emotional mastery and compassion and balance. The King of Cups embodies mature emotional intelligence. He feels deeply but remains calm. He responds rather than reacts. This is the master of staying anchored through emotional waves. This card invites you to lead with compassion and inner stillness, even if others around you are stormy. You might be placed in a situation where you need to support someone emotionally without getting pulled into the drama. Or perhaps you're realizing how far you've come emotionally, that you can handle what used to derail you. This card is a badge of your growth. And here's the advice. Stay balanced. You don't have to suppress your emotions. Just hold them wisely. Be the calm in the storm. So, how does this day affect Scorpio Sun, Moon, and Rising? Well, Scorpio Sun. This full moon brings clarity about what truly matters to you and how you want to be valued by others and by yourself. You may be inspired to take steps towards creating more financial or emotional security. For example, you might decide to set a boundary in a close relationship or raise your prices for your work. It's time to honor your worth. Scorpio Moon. Emotionally, you've been asked to reflect on your deeper needs and desires. You may feel intense waves of vulnerability, but also strength in your capacity to move through them. For example, you may finally let go of a situation that's been draining your emotional energy, realizing that peace is more valuable than control. And Scorpio Rising. Your outer world is being reshaped by your inner clarity. Others may notice your increased confidence or emotional maturity. This is a powerful time to show up as the most grounded version of yourself. For example, you could be asked to mediate or lead a discussion that requires emotional finesse. Your charm, insightful approach earns you respect. So here's a summary of this day and what it means to Scorpio. On June 11th, the full moon in Sagittarius. It helps you make peace with the past and look forward with wisdom. Your tarot trio, the Six of Swords, The Knight of Cups and the King of Cups tells a story of emotional transition, heartfelt connection, and inner mastery. The Six of Swords shows you're moving into calmer waters. The Knight of Cups invites love, inspiration, and openness. And the King of Cups confirms your emotional growth and power. Here's a real life takeaway. You're not who you used to be, and that's a good thing. Be open to messages from the heart. Love, creativity, or emotional healing may find you today, and lead with calm compassion. You're the anchor others need. So here's your advice today for Scorpio. Release the past and trust the emotional maturity you've earned. Express your heart, but stay anchored in truth. Today is about honoring your journey and embracing the peace that comes from growth. Thank you, Scorpio. And I hope to see you in another reading.